What's up, guys? So I want to talk to you guys about why Puerto Rico is the best place to retire. Okay, so a lot of times people stress out, especially in America. You know, you're working 9 to 5 trying to save. I asked this lady who she's a retired lady here, and I said, how do people like survive? You know, because when you retire, if you don't have any money. And so she said that she was working at a university for 15 years and she got a pension of $800. So that's what she's living off of, $800 a month. It's not a lot, but she also said that I asked about what about people that are struggling like with their health and like how the hospitals here. And then she said that there's this insurance called Reforma, to where so her friend had some type of sickness and she couldn't afford the medication, and so she switched over to Reforma, which is a government assistant insurance. I guess it's like Medicaid or whatever, and she was approved and stuff. So they got the best insurance plan over here in Puerto Rico, even if you don't have any money. And so I'm just titling this video why Puerto Rico is the best place to retire. It's because even when you're broke and you end up being like like nothing, having anything, they have like different housing programs where. And I asked about caregivers too. I said, well, what about the caregivers? Like, well, that's why they have these facilities where for elderly people, if you don't have any money, the government will take care of everything. So I think that's another reason why, not all, I'm gonna get some hate on this, why a lot of Puerto Ricans are kind of, not stressed out, about life, because, it's pretty much, Puerto Rico is being taken care of by the government. The government take care of them. There's some stuff about like the corruption, but they take care of their people. If you're like sick and stuff. Other than, sometimes like right now, I'm trying to make an appointment for my ADHD. I gotta wait 3 months. But yeah, if you're retired and you're thinking about moving to Puerto Rico, look up Reforma. Okay, that's the government insurance, and you may not be able to afford an insurance or a medication where you live, but if you move to Puerto Rico, they'll take care of you. So that's kind of like a little hack, so all right, just wanted to get that out of my head because that's fresh in my mind. I just dropped off this elderly lady, so I asked, another thing too, I asked her, I was like, well, how are you able to like pay your bills? And she said it's still hard. Her pension is $800 a month, and her husband's like 4 years younger, so he still works. That's why a lot of cougars, a lot of women like to date younger guys, because they think about their future. So she brought that up. Her husband's working and taking care of her too as well. She's walking. She's kind of overweight, so she's walking with a walker. I'm trying to figure out where I'm going. But yeah, just wanted to share that with you guys. Peace. Yeah, so, and then another thing that I was thinking too is I spoke to a 75-year-old man. This was about like 5 years ago, who was on dialysis. And then I asked him what's some pearls of wisdom that you can tell me at your age. And he said, when you're young, I'm about to sneeze. When you're young, money is wealth. When you get to my age, health is wealth. And he says, look, I got money saved, I got money retired, but I can't enjoy it because I'm on dialysis. He was like really depressed. And so a lot of times we're thinking about like, oh, I gotta make all this money and stuff, so when I retire I can enjoy it, but if your health is jacked up, you can't enjoy it. So it's like you can enjoy life and having no money but be healthy. So like my mindset now, you know, at my age 45, you know, that's what I'm thinking right now. I'm thinking like, okay, cool. You know, if something happens where like, you know, like shit hits the fan, I can just go to Puerto Rico, and you know, they got good, you know, programs here. And also too, there's a Filipino lady, there's a guy that I met. He's like in his like late 70s, and he married a young Filipina and brought her here. Puerto Rico is like kind of like Philippines away, you know, it's like island, it's got the Spaniard vibe, and there are some people are actually doing that too. They, you know, when you retire, you know, they marry a young Filipina. Make sure you find someone that you trust, because some Filipinos, when they go to the U.S., they end up leaving you, you know. So I guess that's a gamble. But yeah, like some guys do that. They marry a young Filipina. They're like, you know, I know I'm older, but you marry me. You know, you could have everything, and then when I die, you find another guy, and you can have all my assets. You know, some guys are like that. You know, but so yeah, Puerto Rico is definitely the spot.